Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video and welcome to part 4 of our Maestro's DLC content. Yes, we're back today with the final part. It's been a very fun week, it's been very exciting testing out all the new content, but today we are here with a first go in the all-new Peugeot 206. Yes, really looking forward to this one. You know, we've had a lot of fun. All the DLC, I think personally, has been brilliant so far in this game, and I'm hoping this last one can deliver us just that little bit more entertainment as well. Obviously, I just want to say a massive thank you to everybody for the support so far on all the videos this week. You know, just the channel growth has been really good as well. We've ticked over 3,500 subscribers, but obviously, yeah, if you are still enjoying the content, please do make sure you leave a like and get yourself subscribed. We want to try and hit 4K in the not too distant future. But I think today we're going to do a tarmac rally, I reckon. And we are going to do the Rastoka stage for this. I don't know why I'm going to do this one. It's just the one I've picked ready for today. But yeah, I'm pretty certain then the Peugeot is in the Super 2000 class of cars. No, that's the original one, isn't it? I've got to go find it quickly because it's hidden in this game somewhere. I just can't remember where. Well, I was in fact looking in the wrong section originally. It's not in the Super 2000 class, or it's the Super 1600 class of cars. So the clue's in the name. You got a 1.6 litre engine on these things, 4-cylinder, 215 brake horsepower, front-wheel drive though, which I think is going to be interesting for this one. But this car weighs less than a ton, which I think is pretty damn cool as well. So hopefully it's going to feel fairly light and agile through these stages. Every other car so far has felt pretty good with the DLC. I can't see why this will be any different. Well, here we are then. I don't know why, but a 1.6 litre engine in a car like this, for a rally car, for some reason in my head seems too small. I mean, 215 horsepower in something that weighs this little. I mean, it's got about 225 horsepower per ton. That seems like enough, I would argue. But immediately, very short gearing, of course, it's going to be a little bit slower top-end speed, but this is probably kind of like the perfect rally car for me, to be honest. It's not as quick, you know, as your top class of cars. You know, a fantastic stepping stone, you know, up towards kind of the pinnacle of rally machinery. And, you know, of course, obviously, you know, in this time as well, Citroën and Peugeot were basically just throwing cars at everything they could in and around the world of rallying, because, well, it was selling a lot of cars on the road still. You know, it was still not quite the highs of the early 90s of, you know, win on Sunday, sell on Monday. But yeah, for Peugeot and Citroën especially, there was, you know, it was a bit of an arms race in the early, well, kind of the late 90s, early 2000s of, you know, if you could win events, you know, and have those accolades attached to your car, then it was always going to work out pretty nicely for you as well. And of course, very quickly as we got into the 2000s, Peugeot kind of started dominating that as 170 Ks VMAX then. That's about 105 miles an hour for those of us that rely on Church of England. So, yeah, obviously, in the grand scheme of things on this game, not that fast. In the grand scheme of things for a rally stage, fast enough, I would still argue. And I mean, clearly I've obviously picked a very fast section of road. Yeah, just banging off the red line right the way through that section. I mean, it's a high standard in this game, and I think it's probably not been helped by the fact that every other car sounds really good. This is probably the least good sounding car in the pack, I would argue. Like, it doesn't sound bad, but yeah, it just doesn't sound kind of as aggressive as a lot of the other cars do, which, you know, at the end of the day, it is. I think it is meant to be the slowest car in the pack, maybe on kind of a similar level to the C2 R2 Max, although that was a Super 2000 car, or if I remember correctly. But that being said, though, you know, it's light, it's agile, and the front-wheel drive does give you a little sense of kind of safety as well through some of these sections. Of course, I picked a tarmac rally. For anybody that watched the Polo video a couple of days ago, you know, I had a bit of a disaster in that one. So I was trying to hopefully avoid too much chaos in this one today as well there. But it does feel very good. You know, perhaps I need to do some... I keep saying I need to do events in, like, everything that's on this game, to be honest. So yeah, perhaps this is another one that I need to give a go. I just need to start using the 2-2 Rally League to test out, like, random combinations and things, I reckon, in the near future. Just, you know, do some different fun events in some different fun cars. And, well, obviously, normally we've just stuck to, like, a season format. I think the next season of the 2-2 Rally League, I'm just going to start throwing random stuff and kind of see what works and what doesn't at the end of the day. Obviously, we've got the Endurance League. That's in, like, the proper rally cars. Obviously, the WRC2 class. So, you know, I think this would be, you know, something very, very good fun to do some random events. And also, like, you know, the career mode as well. Obviously, we've had no confirmation yet as to whether any of the new stages or any of the new content is going to be included in that. I hope it is. You know, it would be nice. But if they could do that in such a way where you don't have to lose all your previous content, or your save as such, that would be quite nice there. But I mean, yeah, going through all these, you know, switchback roads and everything, car feels very, very good, of course. It doesn't understeer like you would expect from a front-wheel drive. In fact, yeah, it feels actually very, very good on the front end. Feels nicely balanced and weighted, which I guess is quite good. So, you know, obviously it's front-engined as well, so, you know, a lot of the weight is on the front end. And it kind of feels like maybe the engine is behind the front axle slightly. So although it is still technically a front-engine car, the weight distribution feels very, very good. And, you know, you don't have to worry about trying to tip it in like the C2 R2 and it just going straight on. It does seem to want to kind of work with you, which I think, you know, it can be said for all the cars in this DLC, that they feel... I wouldn't say unforgiving, because they will absolutely punish you if you know, overdo it. But they do feel like well-tuned rally cars that want to go where you want them to go. Which, you know, some of the other cars we've experienced in this game absolutely don't. Which is sometimes very, very interesting. I still need to test. Apparently they've made the rear-wheel drive cars slightly easier to handle. So perhaps I need to give that a whirl as well at some point. So just see there, that's the first real sign, you know, if you overcommit into a corner, it will kind of swing back and punish you. You know, if you try and tip it too far there, I was lucky that I was able to stop the front wheels from locking up and just going straight on through that section. Also, let's not forget, of course, again, this is a tarmac rally, so, you know, there is going to be more grip down. Oh, this corner, I never quite know how to do it. There you go, that was alright. But... yeah, it feels very, very good. I mean, look at that. Just getting a little bit out of shape there. And, of course, again, the joy of a front-wheel drive. You put your foot to the floor, and it should straighten back up pretty quick. Point and steer. That's the joy of these kind of cars. There we go, 176 Ks. So she has got a little bit more to give. That was about 110 miles an hour then. That's not bad going. We'll take that. That was pretty good. Maybe we can do a little bit more on this next downhill section. 174, 75, 76. I lifted out the throttle and then too busy looking at the speedo again. that could have gone worse for me. I got a little bit lucky there. I'll be completely honest with you guys, but just trying to get it slowed down then in through some of these more twisty bits as well. Yeah, I mean, that's a long flowing corner where you're trying to get on the throttle. And it does feel, I mean, look at that. It just, even when we were trying to kick the back end out there, you know, you give it a boot full of throttle, and it just kind of gathers itself up. Very composed. I'll give it credit. Yeah, very, very composed machine. Whoa, hello. As we try and chuck it down the hill, though, well, I believe we've got one little blast through a village towards the end of this stage, if I'm not mistaken. But we are almost at the end then of this one, and well, so far this car has felt absolutely fantastic. Again, I'm back on the red line. Yeah, definitely could do with some slightly longer gearing. So that's the first proper mistake I've made. maybe just getting a little bit too optimistic with the way it handles there, and you can see then when you get it a little bit off, you know, the proper stage, it does start to understeer a little bit more. You kind of get that kind of negative side of front-wheel drive, but I mean, yeah, just feel it responds exactly how you would want a rally car to most of the time. And you know, you think if you're trying to learn the ropes for the top class of the WRC, on the one hand, of course, it's quite forgiving. On the other hand, you know, if you want to be the one to try and explore the limits with it, you absolutely can do. As up towards the finish line then, that is going to be a 7:51 stage time there. I'm pretty happy with that. I think that will hopefully put us fairly decent on the leaderboards. But yeah, it felt good. It felt really good. I'm a big fan of that car. And like I said, I think we're going to have to try and do some various events with it. You see, 35 seconds off top time. Of course, it is an old class of car, so people will have setups and things like that. Are there any of these right up towards the top of the leaderboard? Okay, no, it's mainly dominated by the Clio by the looks of it. So I feel like this stage is probably very, very limited by kind of what top speed you can get out of your car. There we go. Someone has done all 7:29, which I reckon Halle nailed it. We could have got a bit closer to as well there. But there we go. All of the cars from this DLC. Very, very good fun. And I can't wait to drive them all a little bit more. Like I said, a massive thank you to everybody for the support, you know, on all of the content this week. You know, we're just continuing doing our thing with this channel. I'm having a lot of fun with it as well there. But yeah, like I said in the intro, get yourself subscribed if you're new. Let me know your thoughts and feelings on this car down in the comments below. And yeah, we'll be back very soon with more EA WRC content.